Hello, I am Dr. Chetan Nemade. I completed my undergraduation and graduation from Pune University in the year 1991. Thereafter, I worked as a lecturer in a government aided college. Meanwhile, I cleared my CSIR, JRF, and NET. So I resigned from the government job and joined IIT Kanpur for wider exposure in research. After completing my PhD, I worked in SIDAC, basically software industry, for a couple of years. But I was more inclined towards teaching, so again I switched back to teaching. I got a very good opportunity abroad, so I switched back to teaching. And since then, my major career has been in teaching. Of course, I have been guiding students as well, PhD students, and the MTech and MPhil students in mathematics as well as computer science and even other subjects. But I did not uh, get more involved into research as such. Also, I was involved in the administration. I worked at various positions like training and placement officer, then acting principal of the college, then deputy dean at Lovely Professional University, then also registrar of PK University, and other minor administrative work. But my major interest is in research. Sorry, teaching. I can guide the students also, uh, and I have covered almost 80 to 90% of the subjects that are taught in undergraduation and post graduation in mathematics. So I am quite flexible. I can teach most of the subjects. That's it. Okay, for demonstration, let me take a topic which is useful, which can be applied in most of the subjects, including pure sciences, then engineering, then medical, pharmacy, and all where data analysis is required. So I'll take normal distribution as one of the topics. It's not a mathematics topic, it's a statistics topic, but it's useful in all the branches. So I will be talking a bit on normal distribution. Okay, I'll rub this. This there are two approaches to study this statistics or normal distribution. One is for those who are analytically strong and they want to know why and how, apart from just what. And others, they just want to know what. For example, of students of pharmacy, students of agriculture, students of medical science, they need not know what exactly is this normal distribution, and why is it that it is a valid density function, probability density function. They need not know all these details. What they should know is just what is a normal distribution and how do I apply it for my analysis. So these two methods are entirely different. For the first category, it's different. For the second category, is different. For example, for the first category, it's essential to tell what a normal distribution is. the analytic definition. So for them, what is important is to know random variable first. Whereas those from non-mathematical background, they need not know the random variable and the analytic definitions more in details. So I'll take a mixed approach. Uh, first, First of all, let me just give you what a random variable is. Of course, I am assuming some experiment going on, and there is a probability associated with that experiment, and we want to analyze the events of our interest. So what we do first, we convert these events into numbers so that we can talk about probability of numbers rather than probability of events. So that which converts these events into numbers is a random variable. So technically a random variable x is a function from your set of all events to the real line. The advantage of this random variable is I don't have to describe the events and then talk about them. I can simply talk about the probability of a number which is associated with that event. So in this manner I can talk about probability of an event. For example, say the yield or the profit per acre in an agriculture product. Let X denote profit per acre of land. So the profit can be 0, the profit can be say 100 rupees, it can be 1000 rupees, it can be 10,000 rupees, it can be just any figure, it can be even minus 100 rupees. If you go in loss, then it can be even minus 100 rupees, or it can be minus 200 rupees. So this profit takes the value from minus infinity to plus infinity. And now we can, instead of talking about this profit or the yield, instead of talking about the yield, we can just instead of talking about the probability of some yield which gives you a profit of 100 or which gives you a profit of 1000, we can talk about the probability of 1000 directly. So I don't have to describe the events, and it's good for calculation. So this random variable helps me associate these events to the numbers, real numbers. And once we have this association, we define the probability of the numbers. We call it probability density function. Probability density function. That which associates with every number its probability of occurrence, its probability density function. Fx, f is a function from the real line to the interval 0, 1. So which associates fx is the probability of occurrence of x. So this fx associates the number with its probability of occurrence. So once we have this probability density function, then we can plot the graph of this fx. We can plot the graph of this fx. Okay, I'll write this. So for a probability density function, if a graph looks like this, we call it a normal distribution. So this is for a layman, that if the graph looks like this, of course you will have to describe in more details the features of this graph. Technically it's very easy to describe. It's simply f, this is f is a normal distribution if fx can be represented as 1 upon sigma root 2 pi e raised to minus half x minus mu upon sigma bracket square for some sigma greater than 0 and minus infinity less than mu less than infinity. If we can express this function as this expression for some sigma and mu, then we call it a normal distribution. So we are short of time. So this is the definition of a normal distribution. Next is this really a probability density function? You have to verify that whether this is indeed a probability density function or not. And then after verifying that it is a valid probability density function, then we have to look into its features and then how we can apply it in our practical problems. So that's the brief introduction to a normal distribution. For research, if I focus on my research topics, as I told, I have not been much involved in research, my self-research. I am more involved in research of others. Like whenever they require any help, I used to help them. My research was on finite fields, irreducible polynomial over finite fields and normal basis over finite fields. So it is irreducible polynomials and normal basis over finite fields. I won't give much details about these topics. I'm just going to give what are the applications, why I chose this topic and where I can use it. So these irreducible polynomials are used for data compression nowadays. I mean that was the plan I had that time. That time they were not used in data compression. but nowadays they are used for data compression. I could not contribute anything in it. In fact, I did not get any chance to do research in this. So, but the other applications of these finite fields you can find in cryptography and in coding theory. There I had bit contribution in cryptography, not in coding theory. So these irreducible polynomials and normal bases are used for computation, fast computation. So these are applicable in computer science. These topics are applicable in computer science. They are not just pure mathematical concepts. They are pure mathematical concepts, but they are applicable in computer science. So that attracted me to work in this. Irreducible polynomials and normal basis over finite fields. Finite fields is a algebraic structure in which you can do a finite algebraic structure, a finite set of elements in which you can do your routine operations of addition, multiplication, subtraction, division. See, the real line is not finite, it's infinite. If you want to do the same operations as a real line over a finite structure, then we need a finite field. Finite field is that tool which facilitates you to do routine operations of addition, multiplication, subtraction and division. And what is the advantage of this structure then? This structure is useful, some of the applications that I know, it's useful in coding theory and cryptography. And as I said, recently it's used in data compression also, or image processing, data compression. So if I get time sufficient facilities, maybe I'll continue this research on these topics and see if I can get with some project or product. I value research only if it's leading me to some product. Rest of the research I avoid. I avoid research which doesn't have applications. Not that it's not important. I avoid it. It's my choice. So this is what I plan to do in research if I get time to research to do research. And in fact, that is one of the reasons why I want to leave my present job. We don't have a scope to do research. It's more into teaching, and that's fine. It's more into teaching. And secondly, there's organizations do not follow the statute or the ordinance. There is some minimum standard we expect from any organization to follow. Like at least you should fulfill the commitments that you give to an employee when you select them. There are certain commitments that you are expected to fulfill. If those minimum commitments are also not fulfilled, then you just can't stay there for long. For example, I have been staying here in Jhansi because my family was here. My son was in 10th, and I did not want to disturb him. Now that he has cleared his 10th, I can move elsewhere. The major motivation is because these organizations do not fulfill the minimum commitment. There are many others. We are short of time, so I can't speak much more about it.